It's good to be here today. I think we're going to put a picture up here of our family I want to introduce you to. We had the incredible privilege of going on a short-term trip to Haiti this past summer. This was our transportation from the Port-au-Prince airport out to Kajak, about 4 hours away. We were teaching the new business, home, and health curriculum to a savings group out there in Kajak. I've been asked to speak about weathering the storm of industry changes, and yes, you're right, Chuck. We're in a good industry to relate to that. But as I thought about this, it reminded me of a guy that was really good at weathering storms because he was really good at taking challenging situations and turning them into positive ones. It seems that he always really wanted to be, his goal in life was to be a Bible salesman. And he had never been able to kind of break through that barrier, but he had a chance to talk to the manager of a company where he could get a job like that, and he came in and he said, "I'd like to have a job selling Bibles." And the manager kind of felt bad for him. He said, "I tell you what, if you can sell at least 5 Bibles the first day, you got yourself a job," thinking he'd probably never see him again. But sure enough, he showed up the next day, and he came in, and the manager said, "How'd you do?" And he said, "I sold 77 Bibles." And the guy said, 77 Bibles? How in the world did you sell 77? I've been selling Bibles for 27 years. I've never been able to sell 70. Wait a second. What did you say to those people when you went to the door? And he said, "I just said, would you like to buy a Bible, or would you like to have me read it to you?" There's a guy that knew how to take challenging situations and turn them into positive. There's a kind of guy you want to have on your team. Today I want to compare 3 areas of life that we tend to focus on: survival, success, and significance. And as we look at the first area of life that we tend to focus on, survival, some of you may have came in today and in response to someone asking you how you're doing, you might have said, "Hanging in there," or just surviving. I'm in the home building business, so I can definitely relate to that. But I want us to dig a little deeper today and talk about a different level of survival. How many of you in the room have access to clean drinking water? Well, get those hands up. Let's get some exercise going. All of us, right? Did you know that puts us in the top 8% of the world? Only 8% of the world has access to clean drinking water. 800 million people won't eat today. 300 million of them are children. I had the opportunity to meet a young man by the name of Ulrich as part of our Travels with Hope in Cap-Haitien, Haiti. He's the guy on the left of your screen up there. Ulrich was really struggling through the storms. He was not able to afford the food that it took to feed his family of 2 boys and 2 girls, 3 meals a day, and he was not able to. He had to choose which one of his children he was going to send to school. Survival is not a new concept to me. Growing up on a dairy farm here in Lancaster County, southern Lancaster County, I had a lot of life lessons, and my dad gave me the privilege at a very young age of getting up very early to milk the cows. And he taught me the value of hard work. So at 20 years old, I took out a $500,000 loan and bought the farm. A couple years later, it was 2 or 3 years later, Lancaster County experienced one of the worst droughts in history. And I can remember literally pleading with God to please let it rain. But it didn't. And yet, those are some of the times that my faith was deepened and my trust in God was strengthened the most. A few years later, that faith and that trust would be tested again when my wife Sue was diagnosed with breast cancer. We spent a lot of time in prayer together as a family, as a couple, with close friends of ours that we had formed a Bible study with. And I'm happy to say that 19 years later that she's cancer-free. And that too was a time that really strengthened our faith, both of our faith, and definitely deepened our trust. So that brings us back to the building industry. I want to talk a little bit about, isn't that an exciting graph? As you see from the graph there, that we're currently building at below 1963 levels as far as our sales. And this is countrywide information provided by the National Home Builders Association. In the past 5 years, over half of the builders in the country have gone out of business. So I want to talk a little bit about why we're still here, why our company's still here. So I'm going to give you 9 things that I feel they're very simple reminders of 9 things that I think really helped us survive the storm. The first one is that we have an incredibly strong and effective leadership team, led by our president, Larry Wisdom, and a strong team of leaders and team members. As we work together, as I work together with Larry and our executive team, we work very hard at trying to grow the capabilities, the competency levels, and the gifts and the talents, really leverage the abilities of our team members so that they can serve not only our team members and our customers, but also the world beyond. And it's really, we do see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. I'm being told that as of tomorrow, we will have had the best sales quarter that we've had in 20 years. So we do see a little bit of light at the end of that tunnel. Number 2, we figured out ways to provide more value. For example, finding better insulation packages. And this will be different for each business that you're in, but for us as home builders, we figured out that we could find a better insulated window or a better insulated wall without increasing the cost. On the other side, figured out ways to reduce cost without reducing value, keeping that 20-year structural warranty but at the same time, rearranging the schedule for our trade contractors so that they don't have to make as many trips out to our homes, so thereby reducing the cost. Number 3, we've developed our own risk-reward continuum, so that we're always looking for ways to, and this is, you would think this is just automatic, right? You'd always look for the lowest risk, highest reward, but if you look at every single decision that way and figure out, okay, what is the worst that's going to happen here, and what's the highest amount of reward, and always look for ways to reduce risk and increase reward. Make sure you take every decision through that lens. We have reinvented in areas that need reinventing and still hold on to our core values. One of the things that we did through the process was started to subcontract all of our excavating. We did have some of our own excavating equipment. And we took some of those resources and the time that we were spending there and focused more on our customer service and our warranty. Number 5. We try to make decisions through what Jim Collins in his book, Great by Choice, calls the triangle of fanatic discipline, empirical creativity, and constructive paranoia. Now I could probably talk a half hour just on that, but there's a lot to unpack there, but that's really valuable. I'd recommend reading that book. Number 6, we've created a strong corporate culture. We encourage our team members to get involved in the Hope golf tournaments. All of you can become involved in those golf tournaments too. Get your employees involved in those. But it's a great way to improve that culture. We have lots of food around the office. I think sometimes we run a part-time restaurant there. Lots of potlucks, green eggs and ham lunches, chocolate lunches. Every Thursday we bring in pizza and subs or Chinese and have like an Andy Stanley video or some kind of a DVD and have some discussion and then prayer time. We do really believe that caring for and praying for our families is extremely important. Sometimes praying with them, sometimes praying for them, but really caring about them. We've been, number 7. In the beginning of the downturn, we got a call from one of the national banks who remain unnamed here today that informed us that they were not going to be financing the construction component of the 7th building of the 7-building apartment project that we were obviously a good part of the way through. It was 160 apartments. So there was a lot that we had to do to make sure that got worked out, and we ended up successfully completing the project, but it taught us a valuable lesson, and that was to really communicate transparently. And to us, it felt like over-communicating, but that was extremely important. It was a big part of helping us weather the storm. Number 8, I think probably the most powerful thing that has gotten me through this storm has been the reminder that trusting in God and understanding that He is really the one in control. And it's really His company. It's not really even my company. I'm a steward of it. But understanding that keeps me from taking myself too seriously or losing sleep over what may or may not happen. We just need to do the best job we can with the gifts that we've been given and remember that it's God's company. And speaking of trust, there's another couple books I would recommend by Stephen Covey, Smart Trust and Speed of Trust. And Covey talks about that trust is the glue of life. It's the most essential ingredient in effective communication. It's the foundational principle that holds all relationships. But prior to Covey, Proverbs talked about trust. And you could probably recite this one with me. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not unto your own understanding. Acknowledge Him. Acknowledge Him and submit to Him. And that's another translation. And He will direct your paths. So, very, very important part of that, making it through the storm was trust. And then the last one is humility. Jim Collins, we heard earlier, and again, another book, How the Mighty Fall, talks about the importance of humility. We cannot believe our own press. We cannot focus on the ego. We need to lose the ego. For us, it would have been easy over the years, with some success and some awards, to start becoming complacent or even proud in a way that we were somehow solely responsible for our success. But I really believe that we need to continuously give the credit to God and to all of our team. So at the risk of being too proud of our humbleness, we've relentlessly and continuously looked for ways to improve our service to our customers, our team members, and the world beyond. And I think the key word there is serve. So, we looked at survival, the first area of life that we tend to focus on. Now I'd like to look at the second area, which is success. And as we look at success, we start to realize that life is more than return on investments and debt service coverage ratios and debt to equity and CPIs and TDRs. Part of the weathering the storm is getting the focus off of ourselves. Even in Ulrich's case, going back to Ulrich, even in Ulrich's life, having a successful furniture business is a result of some business training and a $150 Hope loan that he received is more than about that success. So I want to shift to the third area that I'd like to talk about, and that is significance. Part of what helped us weather the storm was focusing on our purpose or significance. Focusing on, for example, and it's not just about hope, and we have a large team like we have, the amount of employees we have at Keystone. We focused on 50 different nonprofits through our Key Match program. And that's really engaged each of our employees in things that they were excited about. Now, we do have a filter on that, so that we do have some say in where those matches are happening. But we have a special focus on a program that is a special charity where we build charity homes. And that charity is called Homes for Hope, which supports hope. And this is an area where we get to live out some of that significance. And we're going to show you just a really short clip on this.
In the United States alone, hundreds of thousands of new homes are built every year, each one carefully constructed by a builder to provide comfort, shelter, and stability to its new owner. But each year, a growing number of builders and their trade partners join the movement to build homes with an even greater purpose.
We got involved with our partnership with Homes for Hope as an inspiration from our trade partners and their employees. We built homes before that helped one family at a time. And in Homes for Hope, we saw an opportunity to help so many more people through world poverty and their struggles that we felt that this program would be great for us to really multiply our efforts.
Part of the purpose of our company has always been to give back to the community and care for our neighbors, not just our neighbors locally, but also our neighbors abroad. And our partnership with Homes for Hope was a natural fit from the beginning.
When builders and their trade partners join together to build a home for hope, the profits are channeled to Hope International, a Christ-centered nonprofit that fights poverty by empowering families to provide for themselves. Hope invests in their dreams and potential through basic business training, savings services, and business loans as small as $100.
Our first Home for Hope, we were able to generate over $100,000 for Hope International. Our immediate impact is well over 6,000 people for that first home that we built. And since these loans are being paid and given to other people, the impact of these loans and the impact of the Homes for Hope is really endless.
Grand Homes has completed 2 homes in the Homes for Hope program, and we've contributed $382,000 in cooperation with our trade partners and employees. With the average loan of approximately $100, we're able to help 3,820 families and 19,100 people escape struggles with poverty.
Through Homes for Hope, builders are reaching around the world to offer a hand up, not a handout, to those in poverty.
In my recent visit to Haiti, Hope International, I was able to read firsthand Simon and Gold, who were able to create a cabinet shop. These people are now able to feed their children, to clothe and shelter, and most importantly, give them education to advance their lives so that they won't have to endure the struggles of poverty.
Through the generosity of the building industry, Homes for Hope has already generated over $10 million in revenue and helped thousands of families break the chains of poverty. Homes across the nation are bringing hope to families around the world.
So through the housing crisis of the past 5 years, it's really exciting for me to see our team, not only within our employees, but also our trade contractors, our suppliers, all of the teams that surround our company to get involved with, through the Homes for Hope, using their God-given talents, their abilities, their strengths to empower families on the other side of the world, 16 countries, and as Peter mentioned, over 385,000 clients, to work their way out of poverty and to find solutions for spiritual poverty and have dignity restored in their family's life. We call it drywalling for Jesus. And it's exciting for me to see our team go from survival to some measure of success, but to also really focus on significance. And the exciting thing for the rest of the story on Ulrich is that Ulrich, who, like I mentioned, is on the left of your screen there, is now mentoring Solomon in the middle of the screen. And he's also sending all 4 of his children to school and feeding them 3 meals a day. And I love to ask our clients what their dreams are. And Ulrich responded by saying that his dream is that his 2 boys and his 2 girls will someday be the pillars of society. So, in conclusion, I'd love to encourage us to focus on 2 things. Number 1, our businesses are really not ours. They're God's businesses. And number 2, we should be looking for that purpose in life that each one of us have and focus on significance. Thank you.